The Utah Jazz organization did the right thing. They banned kkkeisel for life, permanently, from their facilities. Now, as I stated in the previous podcast, the NBA needs to step up. They also need to ban this individual for life, permanently, from all NBA events. In addition to that, they also need to put in clear and sure policies in place for fan conduct and behavior in the stands. When you buy that ticket, it's a contract, and there's terms and conditions that come when you purchase this ticket. I don't care who you are. I don't care how much money you spent. I don't care who you think you are. But they have to protect their players, and they need to protect the league and themselves. This guy thought that his white privilege, he just had it in his head so big league, you could say, that his white privilege was going to protect him, and he was going to be able to come up with his lying story and bear false witness against Westbrook. And I stand with Westbrook, and I support the brother. Not only that, you had OKC players as well as Utah Jazz players coming in the defense and the support of Westbrook. Now, for some of these Utah Jazz players, from my experience and the track record of the Utah Jazz crowd, they were saying that racial incidents like this is uncharacteristic of the Utah fan base. Now, I don't know if they were just trying to keep the peace or saving face, or if that's what the organization wanted them to do. I'm not sure, but or maybe they're just too new and they haven't seen it before. I don't know, but I wouldn't quite go there. I'm not saying that everyone in the Utah fan base is racist, but in that area and how the situation is, I'm sure there's more kkkeisels out there. I'm sure this guy wasn't the only one. He's the one who got caught in this instance. But I'm sure if everyone else started telling their stories, we would hear more stories about kkkeisels out there in the Utah area. Okay, and this guy said more than what Russ and the other players talked about that they could have gone into. All right. And he's trying to cover his tracks with cleaning up his social media. So the league needs to do the right thing, and they need to put a clear policy in place for fan behavior and fan conduct in the stands, and when it comes to interfering into games, physically or verbally. After the Malice in the Palace, we got all these protocols for the players, but there was no protocol for the fans because both sides were wrong with the Palace. The fans initially were wrong, but then players also did some things that weren't the smartest as well. All right, so be consistent. If you're going to police these players, you definitely need to police these fans. Now, this individual, he decided, or it seems like that he's trying to lawyer up, and he's going to try to have some civil case against Russ, because he's just probably some ordinary guy, or, maybe upper middle class, but definitely not rich or very wealthy. And he's trying to get his payday. He's a vulture. He's a mooch, a leech. That's what he's trying to be right now. Now, he said that he took some phone footage, some video footage, and he gave it to someone that he knew in social media or something like that. And now there's reports that he's trying to lawyer up. I could tell you right now what they're probably trying to do as we speak. He's handed whatever video and audio he has over to his people. They're probably going to try to doctor and edit and take out of context what they've captured, because what we've seen so far was only just a snippet. It was only just a piece. We haven't seen the full thing, and I'm sure there's maybe other individuals and entities that maybe have more than what has been revealed thus far. But Mr. Keisel and his ilk, his people, his fellow maggots and maggots like his woman that, you know, playing her part as the pedestal woman. They're going to try to probably fix this thing to try to make Russ look like the bad guy, the villain, the boogeyman, and the one who initiated it or escalated it. But my advice would be, you better be real careful about this, Bubba. Because even though you're going to try to pursue a civil case, these are still official court proceedings dealing with the state. And you cannot go in there with modified, quote unquote, so-called evidence. And you cannot go in there and swear in testimony and bear false witness and lie. Okay? That's obstruction of justice. And that's perjury. Okay? So I don't know how desperate this guy is for money. I mean, we know his back. I mean, even though his cousin is Brett Keisel, former NFL defensive lineman for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was in the military. He was a highway trooper, and he currently works at the Brent Brown Toyota in the Orem, Utah area, I believe as a parts and accessories manager. So he might have good money, but he definitely doesn't have even minimum NBA level money. All right. So I'm not sure what his financials are, but you better be really sure that you want to go and try to get this money. You want to try to get the bag, even if he's trying to force some kind of a settlement. Because if you go in there with some doctored, quote unquote, so-called evidence, and if you go in there with a false testimony, and if the officials in the state of Utah find out that you're lying, and already right now your story does not look that good, okay? Even with you trying to cover your tracks with social media and deleting and privatizing your accounts, enough people out there have been able to pull receipts on you. I mean, so the narrative is already out there for you, Bubba. So I don't know if this is really going to go that well for you. You know, I don't know what this guy's looking for. I mean, I don't know if he's trying to get some reality TV show deal, maybe. I don't know. An invitation to the White House. You know, he is one of these maggot supporters, and his woman is a maggot. So, but my advice to him, you know, and if he knows, I mean, look, I'm not a lawyer by profession, but I know a fair amount about the law. My advice to him is just like what you should have did when you was talking to Mr. Westbrook, Brother Westbrook. You better leave it alone, Bubba, because it's probably not going to go that well for you. And in the instance, if he does actually go through with this legal proceeding, the Players Association, the union, and the league needs to come out in support of Westbrook, and including the Utah Jazz organization, with getting to the truth and the facts. Now, I was reading an article when the Jazz organization was talking about banning this individual, that they said that they had some surveillance or some kind of intelligence, or they were able to compile some video and audio of their own. Now, I'm not necessarily sure how they got this information, but I will say this when it comes to sports broadcast and sports production. In any major live sports game that's going to be covered, whether it's radio or television, there's something called parabolic microphones. You may have seen them before watching games. They look like kind of like a satellite dish, and it's a clear kind of plastic material, like an acrylic or a plexiglass type of a substance. You know, this is the type of technology they use in spying and surveillance, okay? And parabolic microphones can pick up lots of different audio, even whispers. And they can even filter through a lot of other noise and decibels that may be going on in that environment. Now, this was during the game. And with working with the league and the Utah Jazz organization, if they could go through whatever audio was captured during the game, and if they could hone in and pinpoint vocally what was transpired from this individual and filter out the rest of the noise, and compare that to maybe other audio samples, and lock in all the forensic data, and lock in and tune in all of the rest of the audio and the harmonics. If you go in this trying to lie your way, trying to get some kind of a payday, or trying to get some kind of a settlement with falsified and corrupted information, it's just going to be very bad. So the league needs to stand in solidarity with this, including the Utah Jazz organization. I stand with Brother Westbrook. Keisel and his ilk, dude, just go away and go back under the bridge or the wall or the rock or the cave or whatever it is, the shallow end of the gene pool with your so-called high IQ. Just, you need to go back to where you came from and just go away, and we don't ever need to hear from you ever again. And the last thing I'm going to end off on this, for all these so-called sisters out there that go out with these assertions and these so-called narratives that brothers don't defend women, brothers don't defend their women, brothers don't defend the women of the community, let Brother Westbrook and others be an example to the contrary. Because what was he doing? Putting it on everything. Giving that man a warning, saying, look, dude, you keep it on. I'm warning you. You're not going to disrespect me like this, and I'm going to be prepared to risk everything. I'm not going to take this. I'm giving you a warning. You better check yourself. What was Brother Westbrook doing when he was standing up to that racist, whitest maggot in the stands? He was defending the women in his life and in his family.